It's really good that we have a title race, but
Okay.
hopefully the run-in is fine for us. I mean, it's an average run-in. It's not too tough, but it's not a walkover either, I think, because there are a few moderately tough fixtures in between. And the luck Liverpool has had with injuries is just bad. So, I mean, right now, yes, we are on the prospect of getting our injured players back. Hopefully, we have our full. I mean, yeah, oh, I forgot Thiago, but everyone can forget about Thiago. So,
Doesn't
Thiago
exist.
is irrelevant right now. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, oh man, Thiago, he played 8 minutes and he played 8 minutes after 1.5 years and got injured again. So anyway, hopefully have a full team back by then, and because we need that, we need those players. We need Salah was rusty today because he was playing after 2 months. So we need these people at the best to actually for the ending part of the title race because that's where it starts to get tricky. Levels might fall off, people might get tired. We need rotation. Is the point.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So now that we've spoken a lot about PL, and there's one thing that we don't speak a lot because neither of our teams play in it, but it's still one of the most important competition. And probably the last time that the format is going to be good because I think UEFA
Mm,
is going to change it for next season.
yeah, yeah.
So when it's good, you don't change it, but UEFA is like, no, we'll still do it.
Mm.
Anyways, let's talk about the Champions League. This week we have already had a couple of teams qualify to I think the quarterfinals.
Mm. The Leipzig game was pretty interesting. I mean, Vinicius obviously opened the scoring, but then Leipzig equalized in like what 2-3 minutes, something. They
Yeah,
equalized
60,
immediately.
68th minute he scored, and within like 5 minutes they scored. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was very interesting, and Real barely went through. They won on aggregate. They won 2-1 on aggregate,
2-1,
which is
yes.
not really something a team like a team of the Real Madrid stature would really do against a team like Leipzig. I mean, Leipzig, it's a team created just to endorse Red Bull. Okay, is what most people say. I don't think any pure football fan actually thinks Leipzig should even exist because it's a team created just by Red Bull for Red Bull. Okay. So a team of Real Madrid stature winning 2-1 on aggregate against a team like Leipzig isn't really something you would see in the UCL. It's something like, you can expect 7-1, 8-1 even like for a team like Real Madrid. But 2-1, I guess they barely qualified. But yeah, I'm hoping to see who are they playing
I
quarterfinals
think
has that
you'll
been
have
released?
The
The
draw is
draw,
yet to
draws
the
yet
happen
to
draws
because
come.
yet to
four.
come.
Yeah.
Draws yet to come. Yeah.
Yeah, because four other teams are yet to qualify. And the thing that struck me the most in the Real Madrid match, first of all, yeah, you're right. Real Madrid should have won by a bigger margin. I think last year City played less big and they won
7.
7-0 and Haaland
Yes.
scored five
Exactly.
goals in a match or something.
That's all.
So, but
Yeah.
I remember having this conversation before this match with Adi that we're having a conversation about the formation of Madrid and the players they were playing. And
Yeah.
it was very, very weird for me because they were playing with only Vinicius as a proper attacker. The rest of them were midfielders. And I know Madrid has a platitude of midfielders ready to line up and whatever, but you don't need to play all of them right all at once. And yes, Valverde might have been playing forward as a right winger or whatever. Bellingham might have been playing as striker, but that's beyond the point. You have Marcelo at the bench, you have Brahim Diaz at the bench, you have Rodrigo on the bench. I'm not saying play all of them, but at least one of them should have been there
Hmm.
because I'm looking at the lineup. They're playing Romani, they're playing Cruz, they're playing Kamavinga, they're playing Valverde and Bellingham. That's five midfielders, irrespective of where they were playing. This defensive formation against a team like Leipzig does not make sense. And why Carlo Ancelotti is Carlo Ancelotti, you cannot predict why he's doing stuff, obviously. But only Vinicius, and see, Vinicius is a good player, but he does need someone to thrive off. He was thriving off Benzema last season. This season, obviously, he's been given more responsibility, but Bellingham has been there,
Hmm.
obviously. But when you're playing five midfielders, it just gets just too less of you know too less of Vinicius getting the ball, too less of Vinicius getting a chance to attack. And I think Vinicius did what he could do. And he scored the only goal for Madrid. But hopefully, in the later stages, Ancelotti plays a more normal formation or something. Because I said Bayern have qualified, PSG have qualified. Who else? Who was the fourth team? Real Madrid, Bayern, PSG, yeah.
Man City.
And I think yeah, no, Man City are yet to. officially qualify, right?
No, they qualified. They won. They beat Copenhagen 3-1.
Yeah, they qualified on
Oh,
aggregate 6-2, and I think Inter Milan was the other
oh,
team.
right, right.
Yeah.
No, Inter Milan are yet to play.
Yeah,
They're playing. Inter Milan are yet to
yeah, no,
play.
no, no.
Oh, they're yet to play. Okay.
Bayern, yeah, Bayern, PSG, Madrid, and City are through,
City.
Mm.
Yeah.
right? So if you look at the opponents that Real could face, it will be City or PSG or Bayern or maybe Inter or okay, I won't say Arsenal because if it's Arsenal versus Madrid in a UCL match, Madrid is going away with it. Okay, there's a possibility for El Clasico in the UCL this year if Barca is able to
Beat
get over
Napoli.
Napoli, but yeah, but I'm not sure about that because Barca has been very up and down this season. Some
Mm.
matches they'll play very good and will make you question that why is Xavi leaving? The next match they'll be playing like shit and be like, oh, it's good he's leaving, good for Barcelona. So it's very. I don't think Barca goes through. By the way, Porto can if they Porto turn up, they can be a very good team, right? And Barca's defense has been a problem for them this season. I mean, it's the same players as last season, but I think Xavi is setting them up differently, and
Mm.
they don't. I think they're feeling the loss of Sergio Busquets. The biggest thing they had that
Mm.
legend defensive midfielder in front of that defense,
Mm.
and they did not. They replaced Busquets with Oriol Remu, so that's a very big downgrade. And I think that's their got lacking in defense. So I don't think Barca makes it through. And the other matches are pretty straightforward. It's Atletico Inter. I think who took the lead in
Inter. Inter won.
Inter. Yeah, and I think Inter will go through
Inter
because
will go through.
Atletico again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one is Arsenal Porto. That will be an interesting one to be fair because Arsenal were not convincing. And Porto I think got that goal in the closing minutes if I'm not wrong. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah. No,
yeah, it
but
was an
I,
additional
I,
time.
I mean, like, there's an interesting stat that whichever team has beaten Porto the last couple of years, they've ended up going all the way to the finals. I'm not saying Arsenal could win, but at
Liverpool
least,
being one of them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Liverpool was one of them. Chelsea was one of them. So I think like Arsenal, if they beat Porto, they can go. But again, that's depending upon the draw.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends on the second leg. Obviously, it's a home game for Arsenal, so obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
Arsenal will have an advantage. But thing with Arsenal is, as I was saying, I mean, there have been some games where they've been dominated from 0 to 90, like the league games where they're winning by 5 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals.
Yeah.
But there have been some games where they've been dicey, like the Brentford game, the Porto game, and a few other games in the league. So it can be a hit and miss for Arsenal, and they're playing European competition after a very long time. I mean, UCL obviously they played Europa. They're playing UCL after a very long time, so that is a factor. So let's see what happens with it. But I think they'll scrap through, right?
Mm.
Because it's a home game for them. I mean, they can get at least one goal, and if it comes to penalties, it's anyone's game, obviously. But I think they might be able to go 2-0 and get 2 goals and
Mm.
go get to an aggregate. But it will be a very scrappy win if they win.
I
Yeah.
actually have a question for you guys. Like, this is a general question I don't know the answer to. Does Real actually have any quality strikers right now? Because if you look at Vinicius, isn't a striker; he's a left wing,
Yeah,
and he just been put in a
they
striker
have
role.
I don't think they don't have enough strikers, right? They have good wingers. Obviously, they have
Yeah.
Vinicius, they have Rodrigo, and everyone. They have a lot of midfielders, a lot of midfielders who can play as
Who
again
can?
wingers.
Yeah.
But strikers, I think they have
Jose,
also on loan, but
yeah.
he's a makeshift. He's a
Mm.
stopgap.
Yeah.
But I think we all know why that's it. They're waiting for one particular guy
Yeah.
who will come
Obviously,
in and
he's gonna. Yeah,
they're
he's
waiting
gonna
for
show up
Mbappe.
in a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, then they'll have Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo as the front three. So
Yeah.
That
imagine your front six basically being
Six.
Vinicius,
Yeah.
Rodrigo, Mbappe, Bellingham, Chouameni, and Camavinga.
and
That's
With
Valverde
Modric,
and having Valverde as well.
him
Valverde is
as well.
substitute.
Valverde, Valverde as an option, and one of Modric and Kroos will stay as
Mm.
Yeah.
both of them won't leave Madrid this year. So Madrid's well, if Mbappe joins them, it's game over. But then I think if we've see obviously we were not seeing matches back in 2002, but we've read about it in the Galactico era of Madrid. The initial one was not very successful,
Yeah.
right? So because sometimes having too many big names in one team is also a problem. We saw that in PSG.
PSG
I know it
exactly.
was Pochettino also, but it's so much of an ego clash. And I think this is something that a lot of Madrid fans on Twitter have been talking about that Bellingham, Vinicius. and Mbappe in one team might be a ego clash there.
I mean, I wouldn't really say that, because if you see the likes of Vinicius and Bellingham, and all, they grew up playing with superstars of the game. Okay, so Vinny and Bellingham don't really have that much of superiority complex compared to, let's say,
They
Mbappe.
don't have a
Mbappe is the
yeah. They
center
don't
man
have a
of every team he plays for, but Vinny and Bellingham have never been the center man. They're stepping up now. So, but they've never been like the set. Like no one's like when Real Madrid signed Bellingham, they never signed him with the idea of him being the main man. They never expected him to score so many goals and step up in so many games. It just happened. So, but they're signing Mbappe with the mindset that this guy is we're going to revolve our team around him. So maybe that could maybe work for Real, because there's no really center. Like if you see in PSG, you had Neymar, who's like a centerman. You had Mbappe, centerman, and Messi. Don't even need to start that topic. You had three people who are used to being like the centerman of all the teams they played for all their countries, and you put them into a team that leads to ego clash. But in Real's case, you have if they bring in Mbappe, you have only one guy which the team is aligned around. So I guess that could lead to a lot of success.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point about the country point because
Hmm.
none of Bellingham or Vinicius are central to the country,
Exactly.
right? Bellingham is an important player for England, but he's nowhere in the focal point. That's
Hmm.
Harry Kane, obviously, and Vinicius for Brazil actually has been very disappointing. So he's not even in the contention for Brazil right now,
Hmm.
I think. So that yeah, that does make a difference because all of Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar were the central points for the national teams also,
Hmm.
which neither Bellingham or Vinicius are. So yeah, maybe it will work out for them. But it's I want to say it's Real Madrid. They make up things work. They make things work somehow.
Okay. So, anyways, I'll wrap this UCL conversation. It's just my take as quick as possible. So like you guys said,
No,
I was able
before we
to.
wrap up, before we wrap, question a
Yeah.
question to both of you. Who do you think will win the UCL?
Bayern,
Oh,
What?
Bayern.
Bayern. I mean,
Kaushik?
I see. I'm saying Bayern because of Tuchel, because then he can just piss all over Bayern's board. But
This might be my most unpopular opinion yet because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I think City might win the UCL again, right?
again,
Because
I mean,
Madrid, as we know, are not very convincing right now. Bayern also have their issues, right? We
Yeah.
don't know the motivation of the team right now because they know Tuchel is leaving. We don't know what the motivation is. They might fight for him, they might not fight for him, right? And the other teams are very shaky. Arsenal, if they qualify, Barca, if they qualify, for example, they are very shaky. PSG are a hit and miss, right? And they've never been good in semi-finals anyway. So uh, right now, on form, on the players that they have, I think City might be a slight favorites, but I hope that does not happen. I would rather have Bayern or even Madrid win over City, and I do not want Madrid to win. Obviously, they have won too many, and they have defeated us twice to win that. So, but hopefully, City does not win it. But I think City might win it. Yeah.
no, I mean,
If you ask me personally, I agree with you. I want Inter to win. Hopefully, they can do something, but I don't think they'll be able to. Yeah.
no. Like, see, of course, City are defending champions, so they come into the tournament this year as the favorites, and they've also performed like the favorites only. I understand Copenhagen. It can be tough for certain Manchester clubs, but not for City. So, uh,
I think defense was the biggest reason you guys won in 2021.
exactly, yeah. And of course, even in the recent couple of years as well, if you see all most of the finals have not been big scoring finals at all. It's been scrappy 1-0s, 2-0s. So teams with better defense end up winning.
Scrappy one is. Tell me about it, Kaushik.
Uh,
Heartbreaking 2022. May 2022 was so heartbreaking for Liverpool fans, man. We
Nice.
lost the title by 1 point. Next week, we're losing the UCL to a masterclass by Courtois, right?
yeah,
Everyone is shooting. It's almost going in, but then Courtois is like a wall there. No one is able to score. I'm not going to say we were the better team, but we were not. It was a 50-50 game, which was won by a Courtois masterclass. So, yeah, small margins. Yeah, so but yeah, you're right. Usual finals are not normally being high scoring the past few seasons. So it's about defense. And Inter do have a good. I think that is the one disadvantage City have this year compared to last year because same personnel, but City's defense this year has been more leaky compared to last year.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
let's see.
That's what I think. There was a season where City scored a lot. They won the title, The next title they did the same thing, but then they kept a lot more clean sheets. But I think this year it's neither compared to the usual form that City have. But anyways, like we know, City performs exceedingly well in the second half of the season. So who knows? There's still a couple of games to go. So let's see. Yeah, I remember like I think we had a conversation regarding Leverkusen when they almost for
Hmm.
let's say a brief period of I don't know, maybe 30 to 40 minutes in the second half of that game,
They
they were
got
losing
defeated. Yeah.
to some random side in the Europa
Exactly.
League. And of course, they ended up drawing. But this begs a question: are Leverkusen actually the underdogs this season? And if yes, do you think that when they win the league, which seems highly plausible, it's going to be a fairy tale underdog story? I believe not, but I want to hear what you guys think.
I mean,
So
anyone winning
yeah,
in the
maybe Amish go first.
Bundesliga other than other anyone winning the Bundesliga other than Bayern is it is a massive story. Okay, the
That's yes.
Bundesliga and League One are built around two teams. League One, obviously PSG. So when Lille won League One, it was a massive hit. It was a massive underdog story. And then obviously back in 2012 when Dortmund won the Bundesliga, once again it was a massive story. So any team other than Bayern winning the Bundesliga, it is definitely a massive, very very encouraging underdog story. That too, Xabi Alonso is not an experienced manager. He just got into the managing gig. So for someone like that to pull off an incredible, impossible achievement at the end of the season, yeah, definitely he does deserve a pat on the back for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, Kaushik, I think it comes down to what we were discussing that day, that what is the definition of underdog for each person, right? I think for me, for Amresh, or the people of the group, I think we are arguing that yes, Leverkusen has won a lot of titles in the past, but for the past XYZ years, let's say past 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, recent past, they've not been very successful. They won a DFB Pokal Cup in 2011, but apart from that, in the past 25 years, have not won anything, right? Before that, they used to win a lot, obviously. So yes, history-wise, they have trophies, but in the last 20 years, which is a very big duration of time in football, they have not won anything. So for them to be winning a league, their own league, especially Bundesliga, is for me an underdog story. But again, it depends on how you define underdog. For example, is Spurs winning the league an underdog story, for example? Now, people can say Spurs used to be successful, so it's not an underdog story, but Spurs again have not won in ages, so it might be an underdog story, right? But again, I don't. Spurs is a different case because Spurs are very good, well financially backed. Also, I think the wrong example to be fair, but Leverkusen are not that. I mean, I'm not saying they don't get money, but it's not like they have unlimited funds or anything. Or there's some rich American owner. Xabi Alonso is a very inexperienced coach. I mean, inexperienced in the sense a very new coach. He's done very well, but he's not been in management for years or something. And it's the Bundesliga. The last time a team which was not called Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga was back in 2012 when I think it was Klopp, right? Yeah, it was Klopp. So good signs, good signs for Liverpool if you get him. But yeah, the last time a team which was not called Bayern Munich won the Bundesliga was 2012 back under Klopp, Dortmund. So it is, I think even you agree here, it is a very big thing. It's all semantics now. We're debating on the use of the word underdog, right? That is our only difference of point of opinion here. Whom do you call underdog or not? In regardless of that, it's a very big thing. It's a very big achievement for the team, for the coach, and because they were seventh last year, and no, not last year, but they were seventh very recently, and their highest finish in the last 5 years had been third, right? Uh, so it's a big story, and now it just depends on what do you want to call an underdog or not. So yeah,
No, so the thing is, of course, I'm not denying it. Probably when we had the discussion, for me, the only case was that I was thinking that this was not. I'm able to see bigger underdog stories. So that's probably why I did not want to first like recognize that.
there are. I'm not saying this is the biggest underdog story ever.
Yeah,
For example, Leicester probably was a bigger underdog story than this. I will agree, but
yeah,
uh, this is, that does not mean that there cannot be a smaller underdog stories. For example,
yeah,
right? It's like, see, I know United have been shit for the past 5 years, but if United win the league next season, it won't be an underdog story. It will be an unexpected story because at the end of the day, they're still getting thousands of millions from the Glazers or Ratcliffe or whoever, right? But these mid-level teams, I think any of them winning, for me, any of them winning their league title is, for example, if Aston Villa won the Premier League, it will be an underdog story.
Yes.
Yes, they have won trophies in the past, but I don't think that would matter. So it's all your definition, my definition. But I think all of us can agree it's a very big achievement. It's a very big feat for the team and for that league. So yeah,
Yeah, because like if you look at Leverkusen, just like you said, it's just been smart planning. So I think the entire Bundesliga knew last year itself that Bayern was having it difficult. They somehow it was Borussia Dortmund's
Dortmund won
title
it.
to lose, and of
Yeah,
course they. I mean, I didn't say it like bottle, but still that's what essentially happened. You would expect that Borussia Dortmund coming stronger this season to win because that's what we've seen in the past as well. Like when Liverpool lost to City by 1 point, they came back much stronger to win the title next year. And they smashed City out that season. Of course, City finished second, but still. So my assumption was that that's going to be the case this year. But it was actually Leverkusen which planned well in advance. Of course, starting with the manager, with the players that they got in, and the players who are right now performing for the team. Now, like I mean, for a lot of people, they might not know. Uh, there are players like whose names are like Frimpong, Grimaldo, not the usual ones like
Mm,
Boniface. The guys who are actually, and of course, we know Granit Xhaka is there. We know Peter Schick is there, the guy who scored from the halfway line. I
mm,
think in last year's Euros, and of course, what's his name? Florian Wirtz. So we have like a lot of good players, but this is not something that happened overnight. So of course, credit where credit's due, and that's probably the reason why they've not lost a single game in the league. So it is a
yeah,
huge
yeah. And
story.
that's why we're all shocked when they almost lost to some random side in Europa, right? Because
Yeah,
imagine having an unbeaten season only for, it's like, you know, a
yeah.
team in the Premier League is having an unbeaten season. Suddenly in the cup, they're facing Reading and they lose to Reading or something like that. So, yeah.
Because if you think about it, even in the World Cup, I remember there was a couple of minutes where I think Japan was knocking out Spain
mm,
and Germany, right?
mm,
So for me,
mm,
it felt like that because this team has been winning every game. So I was like, probably for just one game, if they lose it, it would be nice. That was the initial thought. But see, even that, these people they pulled it off, man. Like last 20 minutes, you won't believe. I was watching in a very dodgy stream. They scored two goals, and both goals were actually good, exceptionally good.
mm.
In fact, the winner, I mean, not the winner, of course, the goal to draw, right? Patrick Schick, he's just been back like from an injury. So, like, I mean, that's just stand and applaud. So,
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he's at Liverpool next season.
yeah, anyways, like, see, I don't have to fear them because I'm not going to play them. You guys might. So, I don't know. Let's see. But
Yeah.
wait,
No, no, you might have to fear Xabi Alonso next season if he comes to Liverpool, brother.
no, but I think he'll probably choose Bayern Munich. Like, I
He
mean,
won't choose
again,
Bayern. He will
No,
not
no,
choose
no, no,
Bayern.
no.
He will not choose any
He
team.
might, he might.
It's either Real Madrid or Liverpool. He will
Yeah,
not be
exactly.
Bayern.
If I choose Real Madrid, listen, if Ancelotti decides that he's resigning or something, or Perez is like, what ho gaya Ancelotti ka, bye bye Ancelotti. Unless it's Real Madrid, I don't think he'll go. I think there's a higher probability of him staying at Leverkusen than going to
Yeah,
Bayern.
then going to Bayern Munich. Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
I think I think right now, if I had to bet, I'm not Evan Tony, but if I had to bet, it would probably be Liverpool staying where he is. Madrid, that's it. I don't think Bayern Munich is an actual option for him, but
Mm,
that's my opinion. We don't know what can happen, but
okay.
yeah, I think the only other club he might consider over Liverpool, unfortunately, is Madrid because at the end of the day, Real Madrid have that thing.
and
So
he is a former Liverpool and Madrid player. So
yeah,
you know,
he's both a former Madrid and Liverpool player,
sorry.
and Madrid have that Madrid pull, so to say,
Mm,
unfortunately, right? So the only team according to me, he might consider over Liverpool is Madrid. But again, I think Madrid just recently renewed Ancelotti's contract, so
mm,
I don't think they're firing Ancelotti next year.
mm.
So,
But they only renewed his
but
contract for
yeah,
1 year, if I'm not wrong, right?
yeah, but it will go on till at least two. There, it'll go on until 26.
Mm,
So yeah, unless Zabi stays at Leverkusen and goes to Madrid at 26, but then by then we'll have a different coach. Let's see. At this point, it's even too early to call for Liverpool who the coach will be. I think we're just
no.
happy that we're getting a structure because we got Edwards back, Michael Edwards back in
Mm,
some capacity. and we are looking. I think we're targeting the former Bournemouth sporting director as a sporting director. Let's see what happens.
Mm. I
Yeah.
guess the
So
only positive thing from today for Liverpool fans is that Salah publicly announced that even though Klopp is leaving Liverpool, that doesn't mean he's going to leave Liverpool. So I guess that was a really, really good thing to wake up
Yeah,
today.
it was. I mean, it was a very cryptic message though, but I think his thing was that I'm not leaving right now, and I
Hmm.
don't. I would leave only because of a coach. I think that was the main takeaway we had. That he might leave for other reasons, but the reason won't be that
That is won't be
the
Klopp. Yeah,
coach.
exactly.
Yeah, it won't be that Klopp is leaving. I think. I think he might get a newer contract. It depends on who again, who's the sporting director, director of football,
Hmm.
who we appoint or whatever.
hmm.
But I think Salah and Van Dijk both will get at least a short-term contract for at least 2 more years. So let's see about that.
Oh yeah, so
Otherwise,
I
it's all,
also read one thing. So Salah right now is getting 350K per week, and if he gets his salary increment, the money that he wants, it might lead to Liverpool losing out on Luis Diaz. Okay, because of the financial fair play rules regarding the wages. Um, Before the City game, I would have cried my eyes out. After City game, I don't know if I'm being biased or not, but I hope it happens because I am extremely disappointed in Diaz. But yeah, these financial fair play rules are playing a major role in Liverpool because if we do renew Salah, give him the money that he does want, we could lose out on our potential money replacement as well. So, what do you think about
yeah.
that?
I mean, the thing is, financial fair play rules. The worst thing about them is that no one knows what they are like. Laymen like us, we don't know what the actual calculations are behind, right? It's all things that we are hearing, we are seeing on Twitter or some very reputable sources or whatever. I mean, obviously, I think they're designed like that. Of course, it is a feature by design that not everyone can understand that. But I think even Kaushik will know because Chelsea have had a lot of conversation about FFP and financial fair
Yeah.
play rules and how they can fit all those 8 and 10 year jail terms they had as contracts. Um, but no, okay, jokes aside, so as Lehman, we don't get to know the exact details.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you ask me here, okay, I mean, today's match apart, obviously. And even today's match, I was obviously pissed off with Diaz, but I don't still think that he's a bad player or something. I don't think we should do that at the expense of losing out a player,
Hmm.
right? I know Salah is very important and he's been great this season also, but for example, if you're running him for 2 years, I know that after 2 years you know, he'll start aging. He's already started aging.
Hmm.
His style of play has already changed from what it was like, say, let's say 4 or 5 years ago. Obviously, he's 32 now. I think 31 or 32 now. Two years down the line, he'll be 34, 35, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, I want him to stay more, but it should not be at the expense of long-term, future-term planning. And
Hmm. Yeah.
this might not be a popular opinion in his fan base right now, but I think Luis Diaz is a future-term player for us,
He
right?
definitely is.
Because even today, the one thing we could notice that he was doing all those good runs. He was making the
Yeah,
perfect runs. He's dribbling past Walker. He dribbled past Kyle Walker. It's not an easy thing to do.
exactly.
Kyle Walker is extremely fast, right? So there's a player in him. Now, obviously, it depends on the next coach also whether he feels that he can bring out the best in Luis Diaz. If Klopp was staying, I would say there's no question of selling Diaz because I know Klopp is someone. Klopp loves attackers, right? We have seen him get the best out of attackers who people had discarded. Like people had discarded Salah before he came to Liverpool as a Chelsea
Yeah.
legend or something. People had discarded Mane as a Southampton second chance starter. Brendan Rodgers, our coach for Liverpool, had discarded Firmino that he's no good,
Hmm.
right? Klopp loves getting the best out of attackers. He got the best out of Origi also, for example. That was Origi's potential. That is
Yeah.
the maximum potential Origi can reach. So if Klopp had been staying, I would have said no doubt. Luis Diaz is here to stay. There is no doubt about that because I am very sure about Klopp. So it depends on the new manager also, what kind of style of play he has and how good he is at building players, right? Because
Hmm.
right now there's a lot of unfinished potential in this team, Liverpool team. We have Cody Gakpo, we have Luis Diaz and Darwin Nunes. Obviously, Nunes has been improving, but all of them are
Gravenberch.
not. Yeah, I'm talking about attackers. In attackers, we have these three who are not the finished product, right?
Hmm.
And Klopp has played a big role in making them finished products. So it depends on next season what coach we have. Yeah, in midfield, I think Gravenberg is one who is a very raw product, like very unfinished.
Even to be honest,
Uh,
Roberts, he's like only 22 or something right now.
yeah. I think the problem with Szoboszlai was that people saw the first 10 matches and overrated him very much. Like, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Szoboszlai, but things like Gerard Reason should not be thrown out lightly. Right. I know it was a banter, it was a joke, but he was exceptional in the first 10 matches. And obviously, after 3 years of watching Henderson, we were suddenly watching Szoboszlai. So obviously, it was a very big upgrade
Hmm.
that led to people overestimating him. So when he, I won't say fell off in form, but obviously he reached the mean. He was overperforming, he reached his mean. People were like, oh no, he's not that good. He's obviously good, but
Hmm.
it's his first year at the end of the day. It's first year in his team. In a new team. It'll take time for the edges to be polished.